I got a lot of recognition for the work that we did, but the real heroes of Apollo 13 were the people in the back rooms and over in the engineering facilities who came up with the answers we needed.
We never talked among ourselves about not making it back home. It was like playing a game of solitaire. As long as we had a card and we could put it someplace, the game kept going. And every crisis that we came up to, we found a solution. As we rounded the moon, and my two companions looked at the place where we were supposed to land, and they were very much disappointed. I said, we're on our way home. Let's get home successfully and forget about the landing.
And there's one whole side of that spacecraft missing.
Is that right?
The whole panel is blown out, almost from the base to the engine.
It's really a mess. Man, that's unbelievable. Let's get it. Okay, copy that. Farewell, Aquarius, and we thank you.
Apollo 13 has to rate with anything we ever do because it took a great deal of ingenuity, a great deal of preparation, years of preparation, a lot of guts on the part of the astronauts themselves to bring that off.
Odyssey Houston standing by, over.
Apollo 13, this is recovery, over. This is recovery, Apollo 13 is descending. Under Apollo 13, this is recovery, and your chutes look good.
And so you have to say that Apollo 13 was a fantastic moment in the history of manned spaceflight.
I will tell you that we had one of the most bodacious splashdown parties that I can remember when those guys got back.
Looking great. 20 feet. 10. 3 feet per second. Contact down. 2, stop. Auto. We're on the surface. Okay, we made a good landing.
Roger, Ted.
You might recognize what I have in my hand as the handle for the contingency sample return. It just so happens to have a genuine 6 iron on the bottom of it. I'm going to try a little sand trap shot here. Miles and miles and miles. Come on out here and give me a salute. Big Navy salute.
Charlie, set form.
Oh, Stephen. How about that? I'm going out for the ballet when I get back. You learn another line of work up here. John, you're just beautiful. That is the most beautiful sight.
What's that?
You're standing there on the rim of that crater.
Doggone, I've never heard John described as beautiful.
No? Well, he's not real. Well, actually he is on this thing, I'll tell you. He's a big rooster tail out of all 4 wheels, and as he turns, he skids, the back end breaks loose just like on snow.
Hot Rod Lincoln.
Now, I tell you, I can't see to the bottom of it, and I'm as close to the edge as I'm going to get.
All the different steps and all the different pieces of hardware, and all of it had to work. And it's just inconceivable that we could do something like that. The motivation was, well, it ain't going to be my part that screws up, I want to get it right. And apparently everybody else felt the same way, and we did it, and did it, and did it, and did it.
Look out, baby, now here I come. I'm bringing you a lot of truth. Get ready.
Apollo 17 was probably one of the more interesting missions because we had a real geologist there, and they landed in a wonderfully interesting place.
The Valley of Torres Littrow was picked as a landing site for a couple different reasons. Number one, it was in an area of the moon we had never even come close to, and it was a valley some 20 miles long and 5 miles across, which was literally surrounded by mountains higher than a Grand Canyon is deep.
Yeah, 1.2 kilometers is a long way from the limb. Look at the Challenger down there. Make you get a feel for how big this valley really is. I'd rather not. Holy smoly! Why are we on a slope? No, dadgummit.
Hey, Gene, would you go over and help twinkle toes, please, Gene?
Really?
We stopped, obviously, at a lot of different planned places, and we did everything from drilling core samples to setting up experiments to drilling trenches and so forth.
There is orange soil. Well, don't move it till I see it.
And I thought, okay, this scientist has been on the moon too long. He's been breathing too much oxygen. There's not going to be any orange soil.
Hey, it is! I can see it from here. It's orange.
We not only did a lot of work on the moon, but we had a good time. And you know you're only going to come that way once in your life.
I was strolling on the moon one day in the merry, merry month of December. No, May.
I just looked around and knowing we were leaving, know we weren't coming back, and I said we now leave as we once came, and God willing, as we shall return.
This valley of history has seen mankind complete its first evolutionary steps into the universe, leaving the planet Earth and going forward into the universe. No more significant contribution has Apollo made to history.
American pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was
Right away, Houston.
Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die.
When you look back on that now and see how long it's been since we've flown to the moon, you realize not only how difficult it was, but how unique it was, how marvelous it was. Frankly, it's hard for me to believe sometimes that we did it.
The political achievement, not to mention engineering achievement, of putting humans on the moon and bringing them safely back to Earth, and then proving it wasn't a fluke by doing it 6 times in all. That was fantastic.
We take for granted today that technology has come from Apollo. We live in a different world today because of Apollo.
Although Gene Cernan was the 12th and last American to set foot on the moon in 1972, the exploration of space did not end there. It simply turned the page. In the decade of the 70s, NASA's unmanned explorers set out on journeys that would cross millions of miles and show us worlds that, until now, had only existed as tiny points of light in the night sky.
You know, I got right in the beginning of Landsat. NASA really did something unique in that program that people don't really recognize. We started the whole digital camera color analysis, but it turned out to have this incredible characteristic that it could cover large areas at the same time, bring out small deviations in the characteristics of the Earth, and you can use color to interpret it, to therefore calculate what was in the various areas.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then.
I was in the desert in Kenya on the Eclipse expedition, and we saw the fragments around Skylab go over us, and I thought, oh brother, there's been an accident in the